Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Obviously, the weapon arsenal here in Warzone continues to grow and grow over time. We had all the Modern Warfare DLC weapons added in over the course of the past year. We had 30 new weapons added in with Season 1, and we're going to continue to get even more weapons added in as we get further and further on into the content season for Cold War. And since obviously things have changed a lot recently, today I wanted to break down the best loadouts and class setups for every single SMG we currently have in the game between Cold War and Modern Warfare. So if you enjoy the video at any point, or if you just find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here, or if you're not already subscribed, this is the place to be to stay on top of the latest Call of Duty news, intel, setups, and really everything else in between. So feel free to subscribe and maybe even turn on those post notifications. Now, the SMG category, I would say, is currently pretty diverse. However, you will notice a pretty common trend with a lot of the Cold War weapons for setups. But first up, going in order of just how they appear on the main menu, we've got the KSP, the one and only burst SMG that we have in the game. And safe to say, it plays about as well as you'd expect a burst SMG to play in Warzone. When you have things like the MP5s, the MAC-10, the MP7, a burst SMG really is not going to be the best choice in the world, but honestly, it's not the worst either. I mean, the range is actually pretty good, the damage is decent, like I wasn't getting any one bursts unless the other player was just super weak, but it was pretty consistent all across the board, so overall, not too bad, but nothing that's really going to ultimately change the meta. And here I'm running the agency suppressor for the extended range, then also the fact that it hides you off the minimap when you're shooting. I've got the Ranger barrel for better velocity, the field agent grip for better control, although for what it's worth, the recoil really isn't that bad, so if you are okay with it, a rear grip or even a stock could also work pretty well instead. Then I've got the 48 round fast mag, then finally the Microflex LED just because I'm not really a huge fan of the iron sights. Now, as far as the secondary weapon here goes, really you've got quite a few options. I oftentimes like to snipe with a lot of the SMGs, so I would run something like a car with this, and that setup can be seen on the screen right now. Or if you just want to try and slay out and drop a ton of kills, using a more meta style weapon like the AMAX, for instance, can also work really well too. Then for the perks and equipment, this goes for all the classes today, and here I use EOD, Overkill, and Amped. I then grab that second loadout and switch out Overkill for Ghost. Then I've got a Semtex and a heartbeat sensor on there too. Now, next up we've got the Milano, which ultimately is super easy to use, right? But it's also not the best performing weapon out there. The TTK across the board really is not fantastic when compared to a lot of the other SMGs, let alone most other primaries. So for that reason, I don't see it being a top meta weapon anytime soon, but it is still pretty consistent. And like I said, its ease of use is great. It's got almost no recoil. It's mobile. Basically, it's your standard SMG. And here I've got the agency suppressor once more, the Ranger barrel yet again, the field agent grip, the 55 round fast mag, then also the combat stock, as that really increases your strafing speed, which of course is going to be ideal for those close and medium range fights. After that, we've got the Cold War MP5, which is definitely one of the best SMGs in the game right now. This thing actually has a better TTK at most ranges than the Modern Warfare MP5, and obviously that's a weapon that we've all held as one of, if not the best SMG in the game, so take that for what it's worth. And on it, I run the agency suppressor, the Ranger barrel again, the field agent grip again, the 50 round fast mag, and the SAS combat stock as well. Moving on, we then have the MAC-10, which obviously has been a very hot topic ever since it was added in. However, it did actually recently get nerfed, so now it's not quite the same beast as it was before, but it is still pretty good in the vast majority of fights you'd be using it in. This is a lot more in line with like the MP5s now, for instance. The recoil here, super easy to control. The range is actually surprisingly good. The damage is solid all throughout, so you can't really go wrong while using the MAC-10 whatsoever. Now here, surprise, surprise, I've got the agency suppressor, the Ranger barrel, the field agent grip, the 53 round fast mag, and then either the combat stock once more or the serpent wrap. I kind of go back and forth, and honestly, both setups feel really, really nice. Then we've got the AK-74U, a weapon that is honestly fantastic in Cold War multiplayer. However, here in Warzone, the TTK just is not super competitive in the SMG category. It's definitely a very easy weapon to use, but in terms of its effect on the meta, I don't really see much happening there unless it just gets some pretty wild buffs. But if you are wanting to use it, I'd recommend the GRU suppressor, aka the Despicable Me suppressor, which is basically the exact same as the agency. alongside the Liberator barrel for better velocity, the Spetsnaz grip for better control, the 50-round fast mag, then either the skeletal stock or the SAS combat stock. And then to wrap up the Cold War SMGs, we've got the Bullfrog, which honestly I like a lot. Unfortunately, its TTK also really isn't that great. It definitely is on the lower end of the spectrum, but this thing is super easy to use when it comes down to it. It is very mobile, so it's perfect for rushing. It has literally no recoil whatsoever, and it's got some really clean iron sights, so I guess give it some bonus points and a gold star in my book. And here I've got the Grue suppressor yet again, the Liberator barrel as well, the Spetsnaz grip, the 65-round fast mag, then also the skeletal stock. Now, moving into the Modern Warfare SMGs, first up we've got the Fennec, which actually got a slight range buff recently, and this thing is an all-out beast in those CQB fights. It's got some really nice control, a great rate of fire for those close range fights, so it's just gonna beam everybody. And here I'm rocking the Deadfall barrel for better range, control, velocity, and then also the added suppression, the Merc foregrip for better accuracy and control, the 40-round drums, the stippled grip tape, and then also sleight of hand for a faster reload. We then have the MP7, which is my personal favorite SMG in the game. This thing time and time again has proven it's a top contender in the category because overall it's just super versatile. It can be great up close and even pretty good in some medium range fights too. Plus, it also has no recoil, a great fire rate, good sights, all around, it's a winner. And on it, I've got the monolithic suppressor, the recon barrel for better range, the tac laser, the 60-round mag, and then also the stippled grip tape as well. Now, we also have the ISO, which I would basically call the Fennec's little brother. It's good, but the Fennec is pretty much better in every single regard. The two perform extremely similar though. They look similar, even the setups are almost identical. And here we've got the Nightshade barrel, which is basically just the Deadfall barrel in disguise, the Merc foregrip, the 50-round drums, the ISO grip, and then also the collapsible stock for some better mobility since this is a pretty close range based weapon. Then getting to the AUG, lately I've sort of preferred to run this as more of an SMG rather than the assault rifle version with the whole ammo mod and whatnot, mainly because the SMG version has a great TTK for those close and medium range fights, and then of course it's also a bit better for rushing too. So here I've got the monolithic suppressor, the extended barrel, the Merc foregrip, the 32-round mags, then also the icon itself, the Stippy Grippy. Then next up we've got the P90, which is a super underrated weapon, honestly. This thing can and will beam people in close and medium range fights. It's nice because it has that bigger magazine by default, so it's sort of a spray and pray machine, and personally, I'm a big fan of it. So for the P90, I've got the monolithic suppressor, the retribution barrel, the tac laser, the stipple grip tape, and then finally the fly strap stock for better mobility. Now, after that, we get to the Striker 45, an SMG that I feel probably wins in the range department, but that's about all it has going for it. Its rate of fire is not ideal for close range fights. Its damage really is not incredible, but more so consistent at a range. But personally, I wouldn't really recommend it. However, here I've got the monolithic suppressor once more, the stainless steel barrel, the tac laser, the Merc foregrip, then finally the 45-round mags. Then we've got the MP5, the Modern Warfare MP5, which is definitely one of the best SMGs we have, up there with like the MAC-10 and then also the Cold War MP5 as well. And really, what else do I need to say here? We know the drill with this thing, it's a beast, flat out. And here I've got the monolithic integral suppressor, the Merc foregrip, the 45-round mags, the stipple grip tape, and lastly, sleight of hand. Now, second to last on the list is the Uzi. I'd say this is like the big brother to the Milano. Definitely feels better for damage and range, but equally as easy to use in the grand scheme of things. And here I've got the monolithic suppressor, again, the Carbine Pro barrel, the Merc foregrip, the 41 AE rounds, which are the really like the big difference maker here, I guess. Then also the Stippy Grippy once more. Then finally, we've got the Bizon, which just might be the worst SMG when it comes to its damage over range, then also the TTK. I guess the nice thing is the mag size, then also the sights, but that's about it. It's really nothing to write home about. And here I've got the monolithic suppressor for the final time today, the steel barrel, the tac laser, the stipple grip tape, and then also the skeleton stock to round things out. So yeah, there you have it. Those are the best setups for every single SMG in Warzone right now, and that is going to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video, or if you just found it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new to the channel and you want to stay up to date with pretty much everything going on in COD, from news to intel to updates to setups and everything else in between, feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always know whenever I upload a new video. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, and Control Freak products, and the links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.